Hello, welcome to Console Choice. And I've done it. I've 100%ed Tears of the Kingdom. Don't get me wrong, there's a couple of eager schematics, a couple of second level battery upgrades, and a very long list of monsters to kill, but just no, not doing those. Absolutely not. So I thought I'd show you what happens when you collect all 1000 Korok seeds and then bid a very fond farewell to a fantastic game. That's right, he gives you another golden poo, which, if I'm not mistaken, has another layer to its shiny swirl this time round. And just like at Breath of the Wild, he will now dance for you on command. This time round he will do not just the dances he did in Tears of the Kingdom, but also he'll let you watch the dances he used to do in Breath of the Wild as well. There he goes. What an absolute nutbar. You gotta love him. God bless you, Stu. So when I was about 80 hours into Tears of the Kingdom, I recorded some musings on where I hoped the game would be going and my thoughts on what I'd done so far. So here's my follow-up to that. So I hadn't found myself in love with the building mechanic to begin with. Particularly when it came to the lazy Koroks, you know the ones I mean, where you're required to build something to transport them to their friend. I found myself avoiding building things and just carrying them down the road. Certainly as the game went on I found myself building a lot more, and the Yiga schematics helped with that immensely, giving you prefabricated options for things to go on. That helped immensely, loved that. At that point I had done 2 of the dungeons and I'd found them very easy but really enjoyable and fun. Particularly fond of the theming for each one. The remaining dungeons didn't disappoint me as far as how much I enjoyed them and the theming that went with, but they did remain considerably too easy for my liking. If you count the run-up to the Battle of Ganondorf as a dungeon itself, that journey through the chasm there, fighting all the monsters and everything, then technically we got 7 dungeons in total, and 7's a good number, but I had kind of hoped for more. But they did at least change up the form factor to keep it interesting, with Hyrule Castle and then the Construct Factory, and then the chasm run up to Ganondorf's final fight. This was an interesting approach, but it left me a little bit wanting in the old school dungeon kind of style. On the whole, a vast improvement over Breath of the Wild's Divine Beasts with 4 Elemental Ganon's approach. With regard to the Master Sword, I had hoped that once you got it back, you would have to do a set of dungeons or quests to restore its full power, much the same way that Skyward Sword and Wind Waker did. Unfortunately, they didn't go for that option, so that was a little bit disappointing. Instead, they went for Zelda turns into a massive dragon and restores the power that way. It was creepy, it was weird, it was extreme, and I loved it. My final hope that there was going to be any kind of post-game was just complete nonsense. It's a Zelda game, you're perpetually locked in a moment of time just before you defeat the final boss, and they ain't gonna change that tradition anytime soon. Never mind. Summer 2023 is stamped in my memory because of how much I've loved playing this game. The sheer amount of content, the excellent story, the epic final fight sequence on Dragonback. It's impossible to do this game justice with mere words. You really must experience it for yourself. Breath of the Wild was a once-in-a-generation game, and Tears of the Kingdom is proof that once in a generation sometimes happens twice. Too cheesy? Nah.